Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Inside the Pigskin. Yes, my name is Scott Morganroth, the Motor City Mad Mouth. And we have our fearsome foursome here tonight. I don't know if the Minnesota Vikings, what's the name of that defense that was a fearsome foursome? I don't know. I have to go back, but maybe some of you guys don't know. But my fearsome foursome of the night is Coach Bono, Bo Crouch. Of course, those two have a show on Wednesdays at 4 or 5 o'clock. So we got Bo and Bono. And we have Mel Farr Jr., the birthday boy. All right, happy birthday to Big Mel, and an early happy birthday to Coach Bono. And guess what? You have to wait a while to have mine because it's in December, so don't worry about it. And Bo, I don't remember when yours was, but if I'm late, all right, well, then a belated happy birthday to when yours was. What are we talking about tonight? I hate talking about contract stuff, but Brandon AIYUK is one of the people. We're about to talk about the NCAA and Jim Harbaugh, Tua Tagovailoa finally signing, quarterbacks on the move, and time permitting, which knowing us probably will, J.J. McCarthy in this tournament. With that said, let's get to it. Brandon AIYUK turned down a trade to the New England Patriots because of their quarterback situation. There's still a possibility he could get traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, Coach Bono, lead off with you. Okay, can you understand why he did it, knowing that the quarterback situation isn't what he wants? I don't have a problem with that kind of thing if you don't want to go to a team where the quarterback situation is less than what you think it should be. But what about you?
I wholeheartedly agree. Look, he's at the age where, this is probably not going to be his last contract. He's had success. And that's a huge factor. The offense, who's pulling the trigger is a huge factor for any wide receiver. And let's not kid ourselves. That situation in New England is shaky. They've got a lot of work to do there in a lot of areas, rebuilding wise. So I think it's smart by him. And by the way, your fearsome reference was the LA Rams, I don't remember who was on it, but I know it was Deacon Jones and Merlin Olsen were two of them.
Merlin Olsen, Lamar Lundy, and Rosie Greer.
Yes. Here we go. Here's our version of it. Okay. Thanks, Coach. I probably would have had something where I'd have to research it later, drive me crazy, but you saved me from that. Okay.
The Lions had a fearsome foursome too.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
It was Bill Glass, Darius McCord, Alex Karras, and Roger Brown, Roger Brown later went to the Rams and replaced, I think it was Lamar Lundy on the fearsome foursome over there with the Rams.
Yeah, the only people that will remember Alex Karras will be, the people in Hollywood and my old teacher, Mrs. Gulicki, in grade school. When I had my football cards confiscated, I got them all back, but she kept Alex Karras. Oh, I could have killed that woman. Who knows what that card would have been worth now? Alex Karras, I'm telling you, that woman. Oh, I gave them all back. Yeah, Alex Karras, Miss Galicki, you do better than that. But what am I going to do? She caught me playing with him, and she took the one that was probably worth a lot of money. All right, well, with that said,
nothing like those childhood memories that scar you for life.
Well, I sat there worried about all the baseball cards I'd have to throw out there, and I'd have a real complaining around. But Alex Karras, give me a break. Seriously? All right, now let's talk about Brandon AIYUK and the Patriots. And bear in mind, he could still be traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers if he's willing to sign a contract there and get it done. Otherwise, the 49ers will try to keep him as well. But as we are in the moment, okay, do you think he made a good decision not to go to New England because of the QB situation?
Yeah, that position is a dependent position, and you need to have a guy there that can get you the ball, because you're not just worried about this contract. You want to make sure that you're able to see the end of this contract, but you're he's young. He's thinking about, he's got to be thinking about his next contract as well. He wants to try to maximize his earning potential right now while he can. He's been on a championship caliber team. He's gone to the Super Bowl. Now it's time to get paid. It's time to be selfish and to get paid. And obviously they want to put up numbers too. These guys have big egos. They are divas, and they want to put up numbers. And if you're going to put up numbers, you need to make sure that you have somebody that can throw you the ball. I can't say that Pittsburgh is a much better situation for him right now. They have a wide receiver there, Pickens, He's a diva. There's only so many balls that can be tossed around, and Pittsburgh is a team that really likes to run the football. So although when Big Ben was there, they threw the ball a little bit more. But I mean, they want to establish the run with the quarterbacks that they have there right now. Their best bet is to be more of a run dominant team than being a pass oriented team. So yeah, it was smart for him to turn that money down. I think San Francisco, I think they said has offered him, I don't know, $24 million, $26 million a year, something like that. They say Pittsburgh has $30 million on the table. I don't believe that. Pittsburgh doesn't really like to pay anybody other than TJ Watt. They don't pay anyone. So I don't believe that. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. I think he's probably going to end up going back to the best situation for him, which is where he is right now.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, Bo, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree with everybody. Where he's at makes the most sense as far as further in his career. New England, I don't think was ever a real possibility. I mean, I understand they made an offer, but there was no way he was going to take that job. Not with the quarterback, not really with the whole team the way it is. So, and then with Pittsburgh, again, they are run first type of offense. They really will be with Russ because we saw how letting him cook worked in Denver and his last year in Seattle. So they're going to go back to what it is he does well. And then if it ends up being Fields, his best games are throwing to the flat. So that's not really, encouraging for a receiver. So, I mean, if he wants to do the best thing for his career, it's probably to stay in San Fran. And, they have a real shot to go try and win a ring again this year. So I don't know why you would want to go from a winner to a loser if the price point isn't significantly different.
Well, I agree. Number one, I was watching the NFL Network when the Patriots were playing the Carolina Panthers. And it was really weird hearing the Patriots announcer say, well, maybe one day we'll be able to get the better players again. That's not like New England to say that, but unfortunately, that's a new reality of the situation. The Patriots simply aren't that good anymore. And Gerard Mayo, I think, is going to do a good job there. He really will. I just feel it'll take a little bit of time, but the best place is where he's currently at, Brock Purdy. But the Niners need to get the money straight. And I hope that if cooler heads prevail and pen hits paper, that Brandon AIYUK remains a San Francisco 49er. All right. With that said, we'll go to another former 49ers head coach. The NCAA gave former Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh a 4-year show cause penalty because of his recruiting during the COVID-19 situation. Today, he decided not to be the honorary captain in Michigan's opener versus Fresno State. His parents are going to be there instead. All right, Coach, you know what? To me, this is one of the most moronic moves I've ever seen in my life. How the NCAA can give this guy a 4-year show cause penalty when he's actually the head coach of the LA Chargers, knowing he's never going back there anyway because he won a national championship. And I'll repeat, moronic move I've ever seen. The NCAA giving Harbaugh 4 years, and yet he's not leaving LA. Coach, agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's they had to do something, I guess. I mean, all it does is ensure or guarantee that Harbaugh never returns to college football, which I fully expect that he has zero intentions of doing so anyways. Where would he go? His dream job was to go back to his alma mater, to turn it around, to win a national championship. He checked all of those boxes. The only thing he has left, for him personally, is he wants to win a Super Bowl. He's been to one, lost to his brother. I suspect that once he's able to tick that box off, then he's ready to retire. I really don't see any circumstances that would lead him back to the college sidelines. I just don't think there's, especially with, he had a taste of the NIL and the transfer portal and understands that. And there's nothing left there for him. So it's nothing. The more concerning things are, and really the bigger news are what sanctions are they going to levy on the people that are still there? I know, Sharon Moore has a couple things that, he's implicated in there. How how is that gonna, that has a more direct effect on the Michigan program than
Right.
what happens to Harbaugh, because as you said, it's nothing. It's a nothing.
Yeah, I think it's a joke. What do you think, Mel?
Yeah, I mean, the NCAA is a wild, wild west. I don't know how you can fault anyone or place blame on anyone for doing anything they're doing right now, because there's really no rules. Now that you have the ability to basically pay players to come there and play, I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, we're talking about impermissible contact, whether it's via text messaging or a cell phone or something like that, or impermissible visits on campus. I mean, come on now. I mean, you're really worried. That's what you're really concerned about? Those text messages. You're not concerned about the millions of dollars that's flowing through to these players, that's helping these players and encouraging them to make decisions. These players get in contact before they get into the transfer portal, and about opportunities and about the type of money that they might be able to get, if they were to transfer to said university. And you're worried about impermissible text messages. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, everything about the whole NCAA and Harbaugh situation is a joke. You're just going to give him, sanction him for what happened during COVID-19 during that dead period, really? After he's left? I mean, think about the timing and the sensibility, Bo. What do you think? I mean, you talk about the most useless sanction I've ever seen. But you've heard what I say. I love Harbaugh. I always will, because of the type of person he is. And he, like Coach said, he went to Michigan and mission accomplished. They won a national title uncontested. But what do you think, Bo?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the suspension is like a rice cake. It gives you the illusion of food without actually being any food. Like, it's just empty calories. I mean, he's there for longer than the suspension is, right? So he's not getting fired in the next 4 years. So even if he wanted to go back, it won't matter. Now, I don't think he does. But yeah, this is the most pointless suspension ever, because here, let me suspend you after you're gone. Ooh, like that is a non-learning moment for anybody.
Well, let me tell you, when I was in Alabama and I bumped into Bruce Pearl, and he was telling me, and I hope I have a chance to talk to him. He's the Auburn coach. You don't have anything good to say about the NCAA either. They were on his case when he was at Tennessee. Now he's got a dream job in Auburn, where if you win down in Auburn, you're a god down there. So, but Bruce Pearl, I look to one of these days get a chance to go up to Auburn, Alabama, and talk to him. And I think Bruce would be an open book for sure. All right, Candy, station break.
You are listening to the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company. We published a book last November called Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Apple, and Google. You can go to www.southfloridatribune.com. That is our website. There's a link for the book there. There is also a link to buy apparel of the South Florida Tribune or the Motor City Madmouth. You need a hat, you need a sweatshirt, or a tank top, depending on the temperature. Go get your merchandise today. If you like to listen to our podcast, you can catch ours wherever you get your podcast. Monday nights we talk hockey, and then we talk baseball. Tuesday nights we talk football. Wednesday and Thursday nights, you just never know what we're going to be talking about on Sports Exchange or Fire Up. Scott has a one-on-one interview show that he does on nofilter.net. It is called the Motor City Madmouth Show. If you'd like to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott 954-304-4941. If you missed any of this, it's been scrolling on the bottom. Back to the program.
All right, there you have it. West Coast win. Love the rice cake analogy. Yeah, I have to admit that was pretty good. That really was pretty good. Onwards we go, and that onward is on to Tua, who did sign a 4-year, $212 million extension, which includes $167 million guaranteed per Adam Schefter. Well, the Dolphins did lock in their guy. Coach, is he worth that kind of money, knowing that they probably could have waited a year? I'm still waiting to see if the guy can play 2 full seasons without getting hurt. But we'll turn it over to our resident Coach? What do you think
Well,
about
you
that?
know, I mean, obviously they know what's best for their team, and you know, they're the ones that are in the building with them. You know, it's the market price. You know, he's definitely progressed. You know, and as you mentioned, I think the key for him is staying healthy. Hopefully, they'll be able to do that, and we'll be able to see if he is worth it. I do think he's a good, young, dynamic player. They're obviously sold on him, or they wouldn't be trying to re-sign him.
Okay. Mel?
No, he's not worth that money. I mean, very few of them are worth that kind of money. I mean, let's be realistic. But again, like Coach said, that is the going rate. What are you going to replace him with? He's like a point guard. He's like John Stockton. That's who he is. He's
Right.
a great distributor of the football in that offense. Now you put him in another offense, he doesn't look so good. But in that offense, he looks dynamic, especially with the receivers that they have, the running backs that they have, the creativity of the offensive coordinator. He looks dynamic in that offense. But heck, no, he's not worth that kind of money. But again, that's the going rate. That's what you have to pay him.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, they got the Daniel Jones treatment, right? He had a good year in his contract year, and he had him over a barrel. Because what's your other option, right? You have everything built around this guy. There's nobody that you can pick up that's going to be better situated to run the offense that has been tailored to his skill set. So, yeah, I mean, you end up paying him. Is he worth it? I don't think his resume says he is, but, it's next man up when it comes to quarterbacks. If you are a decently above average, you're going to reset the market. That's just what the quarterback position has become.
well, bottom line is, if he stays healthy, you have a puncher's chance to make that contract worthwhile. But let's just go out there and use the old 48 point if. Okay, if he goes ahead, plays all 17, soon to be 18 eventually, okay, but 17 for now, then it could be worth it. But right now, you've got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Odell Beckham if he stays healthy also. Another word, if. So there's no question he's been given a lot of receivers. And the one thing he's got going is Mike McDaniel that he has over Brian Flores. He gets along with him too. I mean, Brian Flores came from the Bill Belichick school, whereas Mike McDaniel was brought in there to be the old softy. Hey, whatever you do, build around Tua. Be nice to this guy or else. And the numbers offensively have been good, but the question is how many shootouts can you get depending on how good that defense. But staying on point, that's a lot of money to pay this guy. I always thought, to me, he's very, very, very fragile. He has his whole career demonstrates that. But again, it's all about health with him. We're making great time. A couple more topics, and then we'll have some parting shots, and the show will be over. We do long ones, and we'll do shorter shows. This may be one of them, but in quantity, it'll be quality tonight. Tonight's segment, Quarterbacks on the Move, talks about Marcus Mariota going to Washington and Jameis Winston to Cleveland. So, Coach, what are your thoughts about Marcus Mariota going to the Washington Commanders?
I'm going to be very brief with this answer. I didn't even realize those two guys were still playing.
Exactly.
That's good.
To me, that's how relevant it is.
Okay. Yeah, and yet, ironically, they were drafted in the same class 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay, good enough. All right, Mel, what do you think?
Was Mariota? Was he in Atlanta last year?
I thought Mariota wasn't he with the Raiders? I thought.
Oh, maybe it was a couple years ago.
That just goes to show you how immaterial. That goes to show you how immaterial it is. But the bottom line is,
Jameis. Didn't he start? Did he start the year off New Orleans? When he starting there, or no? He's never started.
Well,
no, because Carr was there. He's backing up Carr.
Yeah. He played when Carr got hurt.
So I mean, they've Jameis, everywhere he's gone, they brought in somebody to replace him. That's not really good. I mean, I guess the guy was super talented, man, but he's just a turnover machine. He makes some bad decisions.
And Tampa,
but somehow or another, the guy was able to win a national championship with him down there at Florida State.
Right.
But both of these guys have been around for a while. I think they've proven that I think everybody knows exactly who they are. They're not going to win you some. They're not the guys that are going to take you to the promised land. but they're veterans, got a lot of starts underneath their belt.
Right.
Can keep things together in the event that your starter does go down and you need a bridge guy out there for 1 to 3 games. These guys will be able to get that job done. But if you're looking for them to take you to the promised land, it's not going to happen.
Well, the main thing is, I guess everybody can agree, what you want out of a backup quarterback. You can get 2 or 3 wins somewhere along the lines when the starter goes down. That's what the hope is. But let's face it, Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston were 1 and 2 in the same draft class, and now they're pretty much backups everywhere else, right, Bo?
Yeah, I mean, Mariota going anywhere doesn't move the needle. I actually didn't realize he was still in the league at this point. Winston, on the other hand, does have a interesting possibility because Deshaun has had a habit of getting hurt. And so there's a real chance that that Winston gets to play. Now, does that help that team? Not really. To Mel's point, turnover machine, right? He had that year where he was 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. 30 for 30 is great if it's an ESPN special, but if that's your touchdown to turnover ratio, it's not awesome. So, neither one of them are going to move the needle for us, but Winston might actually get a play.
That's a great line, Bo. You're on a roll tonight. 30 for 30.
If he makes the team, I think they would rather have the kid from UCLA because you got him on a rookie contract. Still, Jameis, even though he's probably not real expensive, he's more expensive than the guy on the rookie contract. But I mean, the guy, I can't think of his name now. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR. He played pretty well when I watched the game the other day. I mean, they do like the kid, and he started a game or 2 last year for him, and he just didn't really perform when he had to. And I think they kind of, that's the reason why they ended up bringing Flacco in there later on. I think he had some injuries though too, but at the same time, he wasn't performing the way that he performed in the preseason. But,
well, everybody's carrying 3 this year anyway, right?
Well, let's face the reality. Joe Flacco saved Kevin Stefanski's job. You think about it, or at least close to it. Candy, why don't you put the background of the 2 QBs up? Got Marcus Mariota's career history is Titans 15 and 19, the Raiders from 20 to 21, Falcons 22, Eagles 23, and now he's currently with the Commanders. So there you go. Well, that's his history there. So now you have it. So, but Joe Flacco did a heck of a job filling in for Deshaun Watson, got him in the playoffs, right? And now I think he's with Indianapolis. So go figure. As far as I'm concerned, these guys are both in the same draft class, and to me, if they can do what they're supposed to do, hold a clipboard and take snaps when they have to, then more power to them. But I still find it hard to believe that 2 guys that were 1 and 2 are being talked about with QBs on the move instead of.
So are they saying that Jaden Daniels, he's going to be the starter day 1 on game 1? He's going to be the starter.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Machete Panzoni. Good evening, boys. What's your thoughts on Jamar Chase holding out with 2 years left on his rookie deal? You know what? That's a good question for everybody. Go ahead, Coach. Lead off.
Man, he's a great receiver. I think he's getting some bad advice from somewhere. They've got such a good team, a young team, talented team, and they played so well. They've just been slightly off here. I hate to see this. I really do. Does he deserve more money? Yeah, he probably does. But, holding out after 2 years, I mean, I see both sides of it. I see his side of it in wanting more and feeling like he's earned it. But at the same time, I don't like what it does potentially to team chemistry.
Mel?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to realize where he is. That's another one of those teams that really doesn't pay anybody. Now they're paying Joe Burrow, but they don't, historically, they don't pay anybody. That's it. You really only have one chance to try to put the team, hold the team, I guess to kind of have them over a barrel where you have some leverage is in your rookie contract because you can negotiate those fines or whatever that you get. Those fines, they can be taken away. Those fines for holding out. But once you on your second contract and you start holding out, then it's punitive. So I think, he has to do what he feels is in his best interest. The other wide receiver, I believe, is playing under the franchise tag, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right.
They got one wide receiver playing under the franchise tag. This is the problem that teams have when you draft well and the guys perform. Now you got to deal with it. You got to pay these guys.
Right.
That's just the way that it is. You've done a good job. It shows that your scouting department did a very good job. You drafted the guy. You drafted him high, and guess what? He is who you thought he was. Now you got to pay him. It's just that simple. You got to pay him, and it's better to pay a guy early than it is to pay him late. Because when you wait, what Jerry Jones is finding out, you end up paying a heck of a lot more.
It's true.
So pay him early.
Good points. Bo?
Yeah, I mean, this one's tough because most teams have the precedent of they won't sign you 2 years early, right? Like most teams kind of hold to that. They'll sign you that year early, right? They want to get the deal done. But 2 years early, especially to hold out, it's kind of a bad look when they already have a guy on a franchise tag. You got a defense that isn't the best. You have Burrow, who hasn't had the ability to stay healthy. Although I think he does this year because he seems to get hurt every other year. So this would be the year he's healthy. But yeah, I mean, this team has a lot of things that it still needs. Like this isn't a surefire Super Bowl team that you can lean on to try and get your money. This is a team that still needs help. And coming in an extra year early, I don't think it really helps him or the team.
Yeah, he's really in a tough spot because, number one, like Mel alluded to, the Brown family doesn't pay a lot. Paul Brown down to Mike Brown, when you do get money out of them, you really feel like you are robbing the bank. And the fact of the matter is 2 years versus one, it's a different animal. So I think everybody on the panel is definitely on target. We'll see if he does get paid. But, the reality is if you're holding out, you're still going to be fined for staying out anyway based on the collective bargaining agreement. All right, last topic I want to get to tonight, then we will have time for parting shots if you guys choose to deliver them. J.J. McCarthy has a torn meniscus. Sam Darnold is a starter. And I personally, I'll give my opinion on this one first. I think this should have been a redshirt year anyways for J.J. McCarthy. But the reality of the situation is it may be a redshirt year for all the wrong reasons. So now Sam Darnold has an opportunity to prove he's got one more shot here to prove that he can play in this league. Because I don't know where he goes from here, Coach. What do you think?
It'd be those guys that we're talking about, like, Mariota and Jameis Winston. He'll fall into that category. I mean, it's unfortunate for JJ, but the good news, it's, from what I saw, it's a meniscus. That's not like a season-ending injury. You should, it's typically it could be as short as 3 weeks, could be longer if it's the one where they have to actually go and sew the flap down. But if it's just a,
so it does sound like it would be the longer version based on the report I saw earlier today. So it sounds like it will need full-on knee surgery to repair it.
Okay. So how long? So he's done for the year?
He's done for the year because realistically that means he'd be coming back at what, end of November?
Yeah.
There's no way they're bringing him back for that.
No, I agree.
By the way, Machete, you're very welcome. We appreciate your question. Mel?
I think all these quarterbacks, should have an opportunity to sit out and watch behind a veteran. I just think, but because of the money now, the ownership just can't wait. They got to get them out there fast because they want to find out whether they got the right guy or not. And if they don't have the right guy, they want to move on to the next guy and just keep, recycling these people until they find the next Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, or whomever. But I didn't see when he got hurt. I was really surprised when I was watching TV today, and that came up that he had a torn meniscus. And then I didn't think a torn meniscus would keep you out that long. I think I remember a guy, Lars Tate, and I think played for the University of Georgia, was a running back. I think he had surgery after the game, like Saturday or Sunday, and was able to play the next week. He had arthroscopic surgery 1 week and it didn't miss a week. Didn't miss a game. Had it either the Saturday after the game or the Sunday after the game, and was back in the lineup the week after. So I didn't realize that a meniscus tear could keep you out that long, but it's very unfortunate. I didn't see the injury happen.
Yeah, it depends on what kind it is. If, like they have the one meniscus where they just go in and they just shave it off, and those you're back 2, 3, 4 weeks tops. And then there's when it's really coming away and they're afraid they're going to lose the whole thing, then they have to go in and surgically repair it, and that's the one that takes a long time.
All right, Travis Holmes in the chat room. All right, Travis, glad to have you tonight in the chat room. All right, Sam Darnold, SZN, exclamation points, a lot of them. Like, since this is not an eye test, I can't say how many of them, otherwise I'd fail anyways. Exactly what we all never hoped for 2 weeks ago. Get the alcohol ready, folks. Oh, my goodness. All right, well, that's how Travis feels. That's probably how a lot of us feel. It's a redshirt year, and I'm sure this thing will play out anyways over the course of the next few weeks, but I still think, regardless of how it plays out, Mr. McCarthy will have a lot of studying to do if he isn't rehabbing. All right. Any of you guys have any parting shots? Coach, lead off.
Yeah. Ask Travis how the weather is up there in Canada.
How's the weather up there in Canada, Travis?
He can't be on the show, but he's gonna call in.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Any other parting shots? Travis, I'll have to think that one through. What about you, Coach? Any?
No, that's it.
Okay, good enough. Mel.
Yeah, I mean, the Olympics just ended, and Olympics are always fun to watch. They're always very entertaining. It's nothing like waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and being able to watch something that you actually enjoyed watching. The sad part is, and I don't have a dog in the fight, but I really feel bad for the girl from UCLA, Jordan Childs. Obviously, me being from going to UCLA as well, and this whole situation regarding her medal, and how it's still up in limbo right now. It's like, are we trying to get it right, or are we trying to just make sure procedures were followed through? Because I don't understand. One instance they say it was 64 seconds. The United States says they have something video that's time stamped that says it was 47 seconds, but they won't even consider that anymore. But the big thing is the judges were wrong. They incorrectly judged her routine. So are we more concerned about procedures, or are we concerned about getting things right? And if they can't figure it out, I think they should just give everybody a medal and let's just go on to the house and just forget about it. I mean, the medal don't cost that much money. How much money could that little bronze medal cost? It don't cost a whole lot. They probably got a whole bunch of them anyway. I mean, Marcone probably's got the president over there. He's probably got a bunch of them. He stole a few. And so it's no big deal. And there's whoever made them. I mean, there's folks running around with medals that didn't earn a medal. Give these kids a medal. I mean, you can't take away the ceremony that took place. You can't give the other girl a ceremony. But just be fair. I mean, think about it. We're always talking about being concerned with athletes and their mental health. Boy, what is this doing to their mental health? This is just killing them. 1 minute they won, next second they didn't win. Now you win again. I mean, come on, you just can't have people on the roller coaster like this. It's really ridiculous. Give them all a medal and let this thing die down and let it go away.
All right. By the way, Travis Holmes' answer is leaving at 3 a.m. to hit a Bucks Jags joint practices tomorrow. Next week, I'll be there. Okay. Good to know. You're on record. Hello, guys. Hello, Ralph Williams.
Hey.
Any parting shots, Bo?
Yeah, well, I did want to touch on the Sam Darnold getting the start there.
Sure.
Was this will be the first good team he gets to start for, right? Like he finally has a weapon. He's got a defense that's decent. We might actually get to see something out of Sam Darnold. I don't think he's everything he could, everything people thought he might be, but you can bet that this team is a whole lot better than that Panthers team he was at the head of, or the Jets team he was drafted to, right? So I'd be curious to see how he performs. And I think he's going to be a mid-level guy, but this is his opportunity to try and prolong his career.
Sam Darnold reminds me a lot of Sam Bradford. Is that what his name? Sam Bradford. Two Sams, right?
Yeah.
Took him a long time to figure out he couldn't play. Long time.
Is that a little UCLA USC bias that you're taking there? Or
no, I mean the fact that Sam Darnold went to UCLA, I mean he went to USC, doesn't have a whole lot to do with the facts about it. I mean,
oh, come on, Mel, don't tell me there isn't any USC UCLA involved in that comment. I understand where you're going, but let's face the reality. We have that USC UCLA thing here, and you're on the Bruin side of the equation, so I get what you're saying, but come on.
But I've been saying this for however long we've been coming on here talking about Sam Darnold. I've been very biased and honest about it. I've been biased saying that he went to USC and I didn't particularly care for him when he went there and didn't see what everybody else saw. I didn't see it, but exactly. It just reminds me a lot of Sam Bradford. I mean, it just seemed he bounced around. Everybody. It took a long time for folks to realize, you know what, this guy just really can't play.
Well, you know what?
And that's why I say he's not that guy. He's not that guy. This is his opportunity to stay in the league, like as a backup, not as a starter.
Well, in the eyes of Joshua Dorr, we'll call that a ball buster, okay? Because we got to pacify this guy by putting it up there. But that's as far as I'm going with that. Now, if I really want to go back into history books, okay, remember, once upon a time, Jim Plunkett was having a hard time figuring it out in New England. How did it work out when he went to the Raiders? He won a Super Bowl. So if you put a guy with a good team, and let's not lose sight of the fact that you got Kevin O'Connell there, who, by the way, is a good offensive coach, maybe, just maybe, Kevin O'Connell is the answer towards getting Darnold figured out, and then you buy yourself a little bit more time as well. So
Scott, you keep drinking that cyanide. I mean, that Kool-Aid.
What Kool-Aid are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
You're comparing Sam Darnold to Jim Plunkett? Really?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about change of scenery. That's it. Change of scenery, Mel. Every now and then, change of scenery does work.
He's had change of scenery. How many times did he change scenery?
Right, well, let me tell you something. Last year, who was it? Baker Mayfield wound up with the Rams, and then he ended up going to Tampa. That worked out. He had a few stops along the way. Now, if I compare
like Baker Mayfield.
Well, yeah, you like him. Okay, well, here, let's just, if we're going to go at each other, let's do it legitimately here, okay?
Go ahead.
Everybody's waiting for this to happen, okay? Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold is a legitimate comparison because they both have been bounced around like a rubber ball or a ping pong ball.
Baker Mayfield has produced.
All right, well, like I said, this like Bo said, this is Sam Darnold's best shot with the best team, TBD on this one. And J.J. McCarthy's got a clipboard.
I feel like you think the ceiling I was projecting is higher than what I was saying.
Okay. Well,
I'm saying he can remain in the league as a backup. He's not like, I don't know how we got from he's going to be potentially staying in the league as a backup to he's going to win a Super Bowl. Unless you mean as a backup, then hey, that's how Jimmy G got
I didn't say he was going to win a Super Bowl as a backup. I mean, the only one capable of doing that is Nick Foles, and he did. Okay, and he got hot at the right time. Now, Jim Plunkett, even though I'm going back a few years, he still went in there and resurrected his career with the Raiders. I didn't say that was going to happen to Darnold. If Darnold could have a resurrect type of year off of a play, then maybe somebody will have enough confidence to bring him on as a starter. But I'm not searching for a miracle here. And even though I'm not in center where I have a ring around my head or whatever other one and this is at my favorite Marshall where I got antennas sticking over my head. But Sam Darnold has a chance to play some quality minutes for a quality system. I'm not anointing them Super Bowl chance. I can think of a lot of teams that will win a Super Bowl long before the Minnesota Vikings. I know that. I mean, I don't want to curse Detroit. I mean, after all, they did win a couple playoff games, so they won't have to worry about that anymore. We'll see what happens. And they're getting banged up. So, but I'm glad we had a little animated discussion from within all this. So what's your parting shot, Paul?
Well, now my parting shot is I think it's hilarious that we had an animated conversation about Sam Darnold.
Good. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. My parting shot is congratulations to Team USA basketball. I did have an opportunity to watch the game against Serbia, and that was one of the best basketball games that I've seen in a while. Serbia had them up against the ropes, what they did, but the U.S. found a way to win it. So I've seen a lot of I don't watch a lot of basketball, but that was the one. And we did record the gold medal game. I'm looking forward to watching that one as well. But that was a well-played game between those two. So there you go. That concludes this edition of Inside the Pigskin. But before we go anywhere, Coach Bono, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you. That probably is easy as one of your answers earlier.
No doubt. You can find me on LinkedIn right here on Tuesday nights and on Coach's Corner with Bo every Wednesday at 4:00 on Roku.
Okay, Mel?
You can find me on all the social media at Melfar Jr., and then you can follow what we have going on here in Georgia and also in Michigan at melfarsuperstarfoundation.org.
Okay, now Josh O'Dore, Inside the Pigskin, does not like when Josh and the guys hop in. I don't know, whatever. How do you spell delusional? I don't know, but whatever. Everything's in everybody's mind, so we don't mind it as long as it's done with good taste. But who knows? But anyways, now that we're off of that interesting comment, but we do like to put them up there. That way, nobody will say we ignore anything. Okay, Bo, how can everybody reach you?
So you can find me on all the socials at Football Talk with Bo, here on YouTube at Football-Talk, and of course with Coach and Roku 5 days a week.
And by the way, one of these days, Coach will have a book going once I get up there and outline it for him, and I'm looking forward to participating. We will get this done, Coach.
Right.
If it's the last thing I do, I don't know what's the last thing I do, but you got to show with Bo, and you and I are going to have a book. So this is a family that we have here.
That's right.
All right, Candy, take it away.
This episode of Inside the Pigskin is sponsored by the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company. We published a book last November. Scott wrote that one, and he finished it, Coach, so there's a chance that he's going to get to yours. Anyway, the title of the book is Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. Scott wrote it. George wrote the foreword. It's got all kinds of interesting stories about how media has changed over Scott's 40 plus years in the business. You gotta get the book. You gotta read the stories. There's even a picture of a young Scott with a young Muhammad Ali. Get your copy today at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple. You can find a link on www.southfloridatribune.com, our website, where we also have a link to our merchandise store, where you can buy a cap, a sweatshirt, sweatpants, shorts, a coffee mug that says South Florida Tribune, or that says Motor City Madmouth, whichever you prefer. Go to our site and get your merchandise today. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can catch us wherever you get your podcasts. Monday nights, we're talking hockey. Monday nights, we also talk baseball. Tuesday nights, we talk football. Wednesday and Thursday nights on Sports Exchange and Fire Up, respectively. You never know what we're going to be talking about. You can also catch Scott on his Motor City Madmouth show, which is on nofilter.net. It's a one-on-one interview show, typically on Wednesday nights. So check it out tomorrow night. If you want to get a hold of Scott because you want to advertise or sponsor one of our fabulous shows, call him at 954-304-4941 or email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. You can also follow Scott on Twitter at Tribune South. On our website, if you're interested in football, because you're listening to this show, I'm guessing you're interested in football, go check us out. We have transcripts from Jags, Dolphins, and Lions, and a lot of the local colleges here in South Florida, FAU, USF, the Gators, and the Hurricanes all send us content regarding football. Check it out. But most importantly, check out our YouTube page. Like us, share us, subscribe, please. And also, go follow all of the wonderful people that we have on our network that have their own channels as well. Thanks. Back to you, Scott.
All right, Bo. So when I go out there and tag you from all these, I don't care if you retweet them as long as you open them up and you read them so that we can feed all the shows you have. I don't worry about it because one thing I can tell about a lot of our partners out there is, sharing it's one thing. Being able to use the stuff for your shows means you're getting this information from the source is what we do. And if anybody thinks I could go out there and figure out how to do all this other scheduling business and all this staggering, forget it. There's people far more qualified than I am. No, I'm not knocking your suggestion. I only dated one Latin girl in my life, And the only Latin word I ever knew from her was one that got applied to me. It's called El Stupido. And, you know, I mean, other than Uno Days, so that's why she's out of here anyway, so it doesn't matter. So when it comes to technology controls, I'm El Stupido. So I'm drinking that Kool-Aid, Mel, by the way. But anyways, when I share you the stuff to you guys, hey, if it gives you some hey for the airwaves, it is what it is. But meanwhile, this is our crew tonight. So on behalf of Coach Bono, Mel Farr, Jr., Coach Bo Crouch, okay, who, by the way, will be with. I like this Coach Bo. He's got a BC backwards. Coach Bono and Bo Crouch.
You know, I did coach a little bit.
Look at this. You got a BC and then a CB. No wonder I'm all messed up. Okay, Mike Kelly and Dave Scotty. There you go. I'll tell you what, whatever. And myself and Travis Holmes next week. We appreciate you joining us. And thanks to everybody in the chat room that participated as well. So we will see you next Tuesday night on Inside the Pigskin. Everybody have a great week. And we'll see what we have more to talk about next week here on Inside the Pigskin. Good night, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. Have a great week.